years, and yet I'm sure you've been accused and I've been accused of, oh, you want to go back to the dark ages, you want to go back to this gold standard, and we go back, and you know, what they don't tell you though is what they want to do is go back to tyranny. You know, and tyranny's been around a lot longer than freedom's been around, so freedom is a young idea. Maybe that's why it's so attractive to young people. Freedom is a young idea, and yet we are casting it aside, so we have to pick up the pieces and move forward. We can have a better gold standard. We can have a better understanding of civil liberties. We can have a better economic policies. We have better tools now to communicate with the world. We shouldn't accept this idea of labeling us in a certain way. And at times they'll say, oh, you don't want to go fight wars. That means you're an isolationist. No, it doesn't mean you're an isolationist. I claim they're the isolationists. They're the ones who want to put sanctions on everybody and cause another war. I want low care, I want trade, I want travel, I want friendship, I want diplomacy, and I think it's about time we announce that the end of the Cold War has arrived and that we ought to have open trade with Cuba. We need to reject the whole notion of occupation, occupying other countries. We have a foreign policy that says that we offer them a chance to join us in what we do. We go and so we'll prop up a dictator. So if they're friendly and a friendly dictator, we prop them up like we did Mubarak in Egypt for all those years, like what we're doing in Egypt. Authoritarian government, 15 out of the 19 people who hit us on 9/11 came from Saudi Arabia. So we protect them, and they suppress the democratic movement in Bahrain. So we go on and on. We prop up this dictator. But if a dictator turns on us, let's see, how many years did we, we worked with bin Laden, of course, and then Saddam Hussein, we worked with him, we gave him Iraq their first nuclear reactor. So, when he turns on us, then we have to change our mind. So then we start bombing and killing him. So we either give them money or we bomb them and killing him. And I'm offering just something different. Well, we just talk to him and say, the most preposterous foreign policy is demonstrated with Pakistan. We give money to the dictator at the same time we're bombing now. Yeah. And then we wonder why it doesn't work. People get angry at their government, they get angry at us, and yet we have all this collateral damage. It was an utter tragedy the other day when we saw one of our men, kill 16 of Afghans. But what about the tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people who are displaced and killed with our invasions over here? I mean, if we blind ourselves to this, we cannot solve our problems. I was drafted in 1962. It was when the Cold War was getting pretty hot. That was when the missiles were in Cuba, circumstances. But then I was in for a total of 5 years, but also the Vietnam War was going on at that period of time. But the French had been in there for approximately 10 years, and we were there for about 10 years. Probably close to, it's been estimated up to 1 million Vietnamese had died. We lost 60,000, plus many, many wounded, and many who were sick for a long time afterwards. So finally they said, well, we can't lose because there will be a domino effect and the whole world will be engulfed by communism. Well, if they had listened to Mises says communism can't work because it's non-viable, and it is true. The Soviet system fell apart, the Chinese became our bankers, and now we're trading with the Vietnamese. We go back to in Vietnam, we invest over there, they come over here, and things are going much better. So just think for a minute, what was achieved in peace that wasn't achieved in 20 years of killing? When are we going to wake up and say that war is not the answer? In the 1960s, there was a saying that went around that said that if you were 20 years old and and you weren't a liberal, you had no heart. But if you were 40 and you weren't a conservative, you had no brain. But I'd like to suggest, why can't we have a heart and a brain? I get accused of not caring about my fellow man because I believe in freedom and I'm not willing to use force to get things done. But if we are, I take it for granted that we all have humanitarian instincts, and we'd like to see everybody proud. So if we truly want to be humanitarian, you have to look at the system that produces the greatest wealth and distributes that wealth more fairly than any other system, and it's the free market. This is where prosperity comes from free market and incentives, but now we don't have a free market. We have a controlled market, we have a controlled monetary system, we have all this deficit, so we don't have that. So if we really care about people, I think we have to argue this case for the free market and civil liberties. But today, I think our confidence has dwindled, but there's a growing number of people now who are saying, you know, enough is enough. We can turn this around. We know how to do it. We've had examples of this. It isn't as bad as it was with the Soviet system. They did not have our same traditions. We've had a tradition. At least if we just, you know, it wouldn't be too difficult. We wouldn't even have to rewrite a whole lot. Maybe we could just send people to Washington that would read the Constitution and obey it. Freedom to me is an attract sign.